Okay. So
Okay,
so can you tell me what do you understand about VPN and anything? What is your thoughts on this?
it's like a only private network just for a organization, for like security communication
Okay.
for their clients and users.
Okay.
So while working remotely, we have access to all the applications and infrastructure.
Yes. Yeah. That is a good point. And it is a basic understanding the agenda for the VPN. And any thoughts
Yeah.
about any other thoughts? Okay. So no worries. So this is something you have correctly interpreted the VPN agenda. So I can tell you what was the VPN made for. VPN initially
Okay.
was thought of just to provide a secure communication for the branch offices and remote networks, because enterprises today have a globally integrated and scaled over the different regions. So there was a challenge for the companies to interact and have their perform efficiently. So VPN was designed in that way, just to connect for remote two branch offices, and then after that that was scaled to end users as well. So initially that was just to have an enterprise network, point to point network, which was thought of. And one of the major issues was to communicate over the net, over the public internet, was a security and threat, and cyber attacks and threat cyber threats and malware, like whatever the external exposure to the network. So that was the major challenge. So this was basically designed to have two major protocols included in this IPsec. So there is for this VPN tunnel, I'm talking about point to point VPN first, and then I will explain you what was the reason on the remote VPN. Remote VPN means end user VPN. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
basically there are two protocols, that is ESP, and there is a authentication header. So these two protocols especially encrypt the packets from the one end, from like we have two nodes, you can believe. So if I can uh, I can explain you the basic understanding.
Okay.
Suppose you have a node location A and you do have location B. If you have a if you have to send the data from location A to location B, because both are pointed on a single backbone network, like a single static IP that is tied with the particular VPN connection. So in between, because there is a local LAN network for this location, and that public interface IP for this one. And what does ESP do? Especially because that totally cover the header. Like if you do have any header value, this is your data, and so this will be your ESP header value. ESP, this will be masked anyway, this is something like masking ESP header, and this will be your data. Exactly. So that way your data will be totally covered with the additional network mask values, different IP and header, and everything will be different. Your private data will not be exposed to the external network throughout the transit, from traveling from A to B, and similarly from B to A. So this was a concept. uh, in the ESP we do have a different flavors, is ESP have a different flavor, and authentication header also have a different flavor, and somehow we use mixed mode for the ESP and AH mode. So these I will explain you bit by bit on this. So as you understand why this IPsec was included, this was just to maintain confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity. That means you have your data to be encrypted, just to be have a confidential, and integrity have a, your data is not tampered anywhere and not modified or not any have a malware, anything inserted in between. So we are using hashing for that reason, and we have authentication protocols just to authenticate peers and every packet to be identified. You know what, VPN have a unique transaction ID that is called security association keys. So that is also a good thing to consider under the next so I will show you the packet capture as well, which have all the flavors and all the details. So this is the exactly encryption algorithm. So you may have heard like advanced encryption algorithm and three dash and dash. So now these days we are using this advanced encryption algorithm. So this is quite a high standard, provide better standard integrity and not able to decrypt or temper this encryption anyway. So this is also authentication and hashing algorithm. You know, SHA-1 and SHA-2, MD5. These are to have a hashing. You know the
Yeah, yeah.
you know the hashing agenda for the hashing. This is just to provide uh, like uh, hash value. You know every data have a can have has been converted to unique hash value, and that hash value is matched to the next end, just to make sure data was not modified anyway. So this is a very good way to have a like maintaining integrity. And this hash based message authentication is also just for the host authentication. Like we are using hash codes and keys, pass key, pre-shared keys we do share. So this is also for the peer authentication, like point A and point B to be authenticated in any way. Like you point A and point B to be authenticated some way. So that HMAC protocol is just for authenticating to the peers. So
Okay.
yeah, this is just for the basic understanding. And you will have a better idea once you will have a packet capture. You will see, and the reason hashing have a different reason, encryption have different reason. We have another thing for the consideration, that is a Diffie-Hellman group. You might heard of DH group 1, DH group 2. So when we were planning for this IPsec VPN, we do have encryption keys to be authenticated in such way, like key exchange algorithm. Like we do have a public key infrastructure, PKI infrastructure, and that way we do have some. This is also have a key exchange process. Like this, different unique key values were exchanged over the VPN tunnel setup process. So this is provide a good point of resiliency and integrity to the IPsec VPNs. And these DH groups have a different level of encryption keys they do handle with their process. So as per DH group, DH, so most commonly higher the DH value and will be higher the strength of the keys that will be utilized to the throughout the transaction. So this is the term exactly. This is just to have a private and public keys exchange process. This is that type of things.
Okay.
Public and private keys, there should be some algorithm to be generated that keys. So this is Diffie-Hellman is that type of algorithm. Well, you if you want to understand, so that way we generate private and public keys that way, that make that data to be have a high strength keys and different difficult to in a, breach that keys in that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So what does the whole process of a IPsec VPN negotiation? So as you know, we have a different phases for this to be complete this transaction for that. This ISA KMP protocol is basically international security key. Like the full form that is just for this is just made for key exchange for the phase one or phase two, whatever that would be. And in the phase two, we do set up ISA CAM, like a basic key negotiation and basic key parameters on which that VPN tunnel to be formed. Like there should be basic parameter, like in the voice we do have SIP protocol, where
Yeah.
we do have a SIP to be have a like a SIP negotiation, SIP trying, and next end we have a 200 okay that have a codec negotiation, like that. So this type we do have ISA KMP. So this is basically just to exchange the key values and hashing, encryption, all the things. This ISA KMP is significance for. In the phase two, we do have a in the phase two. So what? Why this is phase one and phase two? The only thing we do have a phase two, that is a control tunnel, and phase two is a data tunnel. In the control tunnel, we do have a setup the control parameters. Control parameter, like just to have a dead peer detection, like a next end peer IP to be live, and data to be like packet transmission to be there. Whatever the control packets to be transmitted, that was controlled through the phase one. Either that is a keep alive messages, and either the key exchanges, and whatever the encryption and header, whatever that process that takes packet transmission to the control, that takes in the phase one. And the phase two is only created have a secure layer, like it is like bubbled way. The traffic is transmitted in a bubbled way. I can tell you, like okay, just me explain you. Like this is a control plane, and inside this is a data plane. you know Control and data have a different layers. Control phase one
Yeah.
and phase two. This is just for data. This is a two layers of encryption. In the phase one, if anyone have a value for the any if anyway it if anyone get a phase two breached, then phase two is totally different from that. So this is just provide extra layer of security in the IPsec VPN, and this is have to be dedicated tunnel utilization as well, because complexity and latency, whatever the like packet delivery have a higher in the precedence. Control control packets have higher in precedence against to the data. So that way, if we segregate something, we have a definitely have a better performance in the terms of performance, like QoS, everything. So better way we can differentiate based on policies also. Yeah, this was basically a conceptual design to segregate the control and data traffic, to better we manage the throughput and performance as well as security. So have you got this idea for the phase one and phase two?
Yeah. But that phase two data will be like encrypted, right?
Yeah,
Data process will be, yeah.
both a tunnel will be encrypted, especially the end user data will be transmitted through phase two only. That is the only thing I want to tell you. And yeah, and you will get a better understanding uh, later on. So I will show you if you want to check. Don't worry, it will be super easy for you to understand and relate these terms. So as you know, phase one and phase two. So you have a word like Ike phase one, Ike phase two. So what is the significance of it? So this is basically for the key exchange protocol, you know, and establish the IPsec tunnels. So there are two different version, and yeah. So Ike is a kind of a PKI we do have, and Isaac Camp is something involved to the process. Is Ike is a Ike ICAMP is a part of one of the part of a Ike process. So That way we have a different versions. So earlier we have a Ike version 1 and Ike version 2. So in this term we mainly cover this Ike version 1. It's a new to the process, so it might get you a different direction, might difficult to understand, but somehow it will be you will be able to relate these things uh, by the time, you know. And yeah, so any questions here so far, if you do have?
So
Mm-hmm.
now everything is going to cloud, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even though everything is going to cloud,
Mm-hmm.
we still require this.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly, because you know what is the requirement for the side to side VPN. Basically, this is a basic concept. You know, if you are starting on the security, network security, you have to go through with basics on that. So, in the cloud perspective, I can tell you, side to side VPN might be washed away after few times, after in few years, but it will be part of it. If it is taking as 30 or 40% stack now, so that will be limited to 5 to 10%, but that will not be completely decommission from the those hello.
yeah, I
Yes.
thought.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just disconnected. Allow me a moment, I'm sharing my screen.
no problem.
Yeah, you were telling on the cloud part. So basically, you know, currently organizations are limited with the IPsec VPN, because still it provide a very good level of security and integrity to the organizations. And but if there is a performance related things concerns, so yeah, there is a challenge on the IPsec VPN tunnels. So there is a, you know, there is a different flavors of VPN is currently in the market, and one of them is SD WAN is a good point, good have a WAN solution. So because this is dedicated to any application, any if you have any kind of isolation to the application, there is some dedicated VPN tunnel they do utilize. But still organization do prefer these side to side VPN tunnels. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, this is a internet key exchange just to negotiate the key, internet keys, keys for their both parents throughout a transaction. And we do have algorithm that is ISACAM just for the private and public keys negotiation, and different modes of it. And if you want to understand why this phase one have this okay, and this secure transmission, this is also different thing. And yeah, so just on the IQ one, because this was something I can tell you, you can read it, but this is not that much relevant. I already told you a bit on it. And if I
Yeah.
told you like IQ V1, so this is also if you have any interview for the network security profile and anyone want to know, so this is a very crucial term, good thing to know, because VPN tunnel have phase one, like when the phase one tunnel is formed, that have two modes that exchange the messages for the parameter exchange and key negotiation and authentication and payload transmission. So that is a main mode, and another is just aggressive mode. In the main mode we have six messages, and to identify and authenticate the peers and to monitor them. And we have another that is aggressive mode, you know. So I just have a three messages just to, this is kind of a fast and speedy way to set up a tunnel. And this is basically more secure way for this main mode. We consider it as a very more secure negotiation on this. And
Okay.
this is a basically few terms. This I was not about not telling you just full form of this ISACAM. So basically, these services ISA camp have usually runs on the port 500 for the TCP port. This is basically it, and net traversal is a kind of a netting functionality they do share on the port 4500. And different vendors have different settings, but this is universal to the
Okay.
like a IPsec tunnel setup, like UDP port 500 to the 4500 for the net traversal. If you are troubleshooting something, the tunnels are not getting set up, we have to do verify these port to be allowed on the firewall end anyway, just to communicate over the network anyway. And and yeah,
So
and
the
this is. Mhm.
aggressive one uses like dynamic IP in the sense like
No, no, no,
within the
no, no. There
office.
is a content and attribute within the messages they exchange over the types. There are six steps. If that is a, I will tell you exactly because I do have a detailed description on this. So let me dive it to the exactly. You know, this is a good thing. I can tell you. So in the message one, this is a main mode exactly. Security association and the VID is something unique vector ID. This is just for the transaction. And the security
Okay.
SA means a security association, means like a security parameter they do exchange just to set up a tunnel to negotiate the in the first two messages, message one and message two, that will negotiate the crypto setting. Crypto setting
Hmm.
has encryption algorithm, SHA-1, SHA-2. And once they share this thing, and after this, in the third message, they will share the key values like secret keys, public keys, private keys. They do share with them on the message 3 and 4. Okay. So,
Okay.
and once 3 and 4 is formed, and this is still a phase 1 we are talking about. This is not
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
phase 2. Still we are talking about phase 1. So in message 3 and message 4, they will exchange the secret keys. Secret keys means pre-shared keys, and public and private keys they do share just to set up on the communication part. Once they share the private, public and private keys, in the third message, that will be encrypted but unauthenticated. Like something is someone is coming to your house, but he's authenticated, but he's not approved from your input. Like he's visiting, either you are not home or not. So that is the thing. So that way, that both peers have some secret key values, so they authenticate each other in a some way. So this is something 5 and 6 is a packet that takes a authentication parameter, although this is encrypted. So only both end peers to understand in that way. So this was a kind of a main mode agenda on this. And
Okay.
also we look over the packet capture. I do have a packet capture files. So you will be detailed throughput on this, detailed view on this. And yeah. So I will tell you the difference of this mean and aggressive mode. This is the thing.
Yeah.
So as you see, one nonce value, there is a nonce value and key exchange and VID and security association, and this have a certificate value. These terms you have to just because, as you know, in the aggressive mode there will be just three messages. So
Yeah.
so what that will do, security association parameter and key exchange and nonce value. Nonce is just a unique transactional values. So that way we might need
Okay.
to this might need to end in 10 minutes, so we might need to rejoin. So let me end this and we'll send you again that invite. So although
Yeah. Yeah.
although although it was interesting for you, or it takes some glitch on that, it are you able to understand this session?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm able to understand.
Okay, no worries. Once you have a packet capture details, you will be like good understanding of the. I will stop for a while and will reshare you the details, then you can rejoin. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.